Hi friends, this is Jess with Virtually Visual, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to recreate this cool jewelry render, this diamond ring, and let's get started. So first thing, I'm adding a dome light, and I'm just going in and I'm choosing one that looks kind of like studio lighting. It's this one here. Just drag that in. Okay, close asset browser. And next we're going to start on our pipe shape. This will be used for the ring. Alright, just bring that into view. And then I'm going to pull in a figure just so that we can have a reference for the scale. And then we can, it's not going to be exactly, but I'm just scaling the pipe down a little bit so that it's a little bit more realistic than the giant scale that it was at before. So feel free to kind of make this as wide as you would like. This is kind of the shape that I'm going for. And then I'm going to hit N and then B to see the lines on our geometry. And then I'm going to up the rotation segments. Okay, just getting a look here at the shape. I'm also creating an archive null, and I'm just going to put copies of certain things in here and disable it both in the render and viewport so that if we mess anything up, we can kind of go back and have the shapes that we need. So then I'm going to hit hit C on the tube, and that makes it editable. And we're going to go into face view, and this is just a style preference, but I'm selecting some loops at the bottom in the geometry and turning on symmetry, and we're going to scale this down so that the lower part of the ring is narrower than the rest. This was totally just a random style choice. I just thought it made the ring a little bit more interesting to look at than keeping it all the same width all the way around. And I do think a lot of rings have that kind of shape detail, or they just are not totally perfectly round or the same width all the way around. So just kind of speeding this up here. Okay, then I'm just renaming the tube to ring. And then I'm getting rid of the figure. We don't need that anymore. Looks good. And then I'm going to bring in the actual the cone shape that we're going to be using to turn into a diamond, scaling that down. And then just change this to -Y, and that'll bring it upwards. We're going to change the rotation segments to 8. And then we're going to bring the height segments down to 2. Next up, we're going into face view. Oh, but first bring a copy into archive again, just so that you have that if you need it, and make the cone editable. Bring it into face view. We can turn off symmetry here, and we're going to select all of the top faces with visible only checked. And then you're going to go to extrude, and we're going to bring this up 2 levels here. First one just about here. And then the next one here, and we'll scale it down. And this is also kind of up to you how you'd like to have your shape. I also end up shortening the bottom parts of the diamond as well, as you'll see. Looking good. Let's rename this to the diamond. So you may notice we have all these faces on here, and this will look good with a glass material, but We're going to end up editing that a little bit later, but just to give you kind of a picture of what it's looking like, I'm going to pull a backdrop in, and then we're going to go to our Redshift render view, pull that to the side, and let's create 2 materials here. We're just doing 2 standard materials that we'll rename, one to the diamond and one to the ring. And then the diamond one we'll pull onto our diamond shape, and we're going to change this to fully translucent, or pull up the transmission all the way up, and that'll make it clear like glass. And if we preview it, it's looking like this. And the glass is pretty foggy, so we gotta go in and turn off the roughness. So this is kind of what the diamond looks like at this stage. So clearly we kind of want some more faces on the actual diamond. So we're gonna go in and actually edit that. But actually I forgot, so add a camera here so that you can set the IPR to the camera view, and then we can close out of that while we're working, but the IPR will still be set to our camera. So just my own preference with working here. And I added a couple area lights in this section and pull it to the side and kind of get it situated. I also changed the shape to a disc and brought the spread down, as well as the intensity. And once you kind of get it in position, you're going to right click and you're going to go to animation tags and target, and then you're going to pull your diamond shape into the target object. And this will enable it so that no matter where you move your target or your area light, it's always targeting your diamond. So then I just made a copy. Again, since it's a copy, it's still going to target the diamond, so you can just move it wherever. And this is super important on your diamond shape. Bring your Fong angle all the way down. That really alters how light kind of passes through the object, especially with glass. It'll look kind of smooth shaded if you have it to a high number. So I set mine usually to like 4. And you could also play with dispersion if you want. I'm just showing that here. This was at 2. The lower, the more dispersion it'll get. But I don't usually like to have this on the jewelry part because it does increase render times. Even if it's cool, I don't always think it shows up very much in real jewelry, so I kind of left it disabled. So to work on the faces, I'm removing the material from the diamond just so we have an easier time of seeing it, and then I'm going to close the render view. So now we're going to work on cutting some of these faces so we have some extra detail. So you just go to the knife tool, and I sped this up, but I'm just cutting all of these faces basically down to the middle point. And I did this in several areas. This is totally up to you if you want to do this and where you'd like to do this. I just wanted to keep it in here so you could see where I ended up cutting things. And then I go in and select those new points around the diamond shape, and we're going to pull those inward, or you could choose to pull them outward. Again, this is all kind of up to what you would like your shapes to look like. Just scaling that in. Doing this extra step obviously isn't necessary, but the reason why I do it is so that when light hits the diamond, it's bouncing off of it in new spots. It's not just those original shapes we had before. So this is kind of what I ended up with. And then let's take a peek at how that's looking now with the material on it and pulling open our render view again. Much better. A lot more faces to bounce light off of this time. Also, I set my camera to be orthographic instead of perspective view. I think for the jewelry renders that I've done, it looks a little bit nicer, or it just seems cooler. So I like how that looks, but that's optional. Now we're just gonna move our diamond into place and scale it down as well, because it's too big right now, in my opinion. Okay, and then next up, what we're gonna want, as far as this diamond shape goes, is we're gonna need to extract parts of the ring to support the actual diamond. So I turned on symmetry, and I'm gonna select two faces on one side of the ring, and we are going to extrude those. So again, just extruding them up, and then we're gonna rotate these faces, and we're gonna bring them towards the diamond so they're almost looking like they're holding it up. And just tweak that till you get it how you'd like it. And it looks a little bit wide, so I end up going in and selecting two of the edge lines, and I'm going to bring that further down so it looks a little bit more even. Just like so. Cool. And once we've done that, we're going to select a face right by the center point of the diamond, and we're going to extrude these four faces upwards. And you have to do this individually. I just found that when I was doing them all four at once, they would not separate like this. It was all stuck together, and that might just be a simple mistake that I made. So if you figure that out, great. But I just did this one by one and tried to eyeball it to get them very similar. But the key is to have them separated, because this is the part on rings that holds the diamond really securely. There's like 4 prongs, sometimes it's more or less. And these kind of curve around the diamond. So just extrude these 4 up like this, and then we're going to add some loop cuts to start kind of bending these to the shape we want. And then I'm just moving them in place and adding those loop cuts. And again, just moving those actual cuts so they kind of bend around the diamond. And then I scaled the top faces down a little bit so they don't come to quite so much of a harsh edge. So there should be 2 loop cuts here. There's the one that curves around the very top of the diamond, and then one below it that we made earlier. And then next step, we're going to be selecting the inner and outer edge lines or edges, and then we're going to be beveling these just so that our ring shape isn't quite so sharp. So by holding shift down, you can select multiple also. And if you are on Windows, if you press Control and then select one of them, like if you've selected something on accident, you can deselect that. But then we just do the bevel tool, and I add some subdivisions here. And again, this is kind of customizable. Do it however you'd like. After that, it's time to duplicate this ring holder shape because I want multiple main diamonds. So I actually made a null for the ring, and I put the diamond and the ring shape in there. And then I made a duplicate copy of the ring shape and renamed that to the ring holder. And we hid the first shape just so only one of them is visible. And here I'm just going to select the 4 prongs we have just made. I don't want the other part that's holding up the diamond, just the 4. So just going in, selecting all those faces. when I'm sure that I've just got the faces that I want, I'm going to inverse this selection, which is just in the select menu. And I'm going to select the inverse, and then I'm going to delete all the rest because we only need these 4 prongs. So again, go up to select, then invert, and then delete. So we just have those 4 prongs. And remember, this was a copy of the ring shape, so we still have the original. So I'll bring that original back to be visible, and then I'm going to make a new null, and we're going to call this mid or medium diamonds. And we're going to pull the copy of the prongs in there, as well as make a copy of the diamond shape and pull that in as well. And this will be our mid diamond shape. So pull those into the new null, and we're going to be putting this in a cloner. And instead of object, like you might think, we're actually going to hit radial and make it XY. And then this is where you just tweak the spacing of how you want it. And we only need the 2 clones. You can do however many you want. My goal was just to have 2 extras here. And then I end up going into transform and taking down the scale of the diamonds and then fixing the positioning and layout too in the cloner here. This is all, again, trial and error. Feel free to pause if you want to look directly at my settings. So then I decided to add some more diamonds. So I just made a copy of our original diamond shape and pulled that into a new cloner, which is also set to radial. And yeah, you can just follow along here and see what I ended up doing. But my thing is, I don't want them all showing along the ring. So after pulling that in, we're going to want to add a plane effector, which we'll toggle the visibility for. And we'll also add a box field to this that will kind of control what's visible and what's not. So adding the box field, scaling that down to the size we need. And then make sure your position is unchecked. That was what got me. But yeah, so toggle your visibility, and if they're still showing, it's just because our box is too wide. So as you can see here now, the visibility affects our clones. And I only want a few of these showing, and yeah, just dragging the box field up a little bit so we only have those top ones visible. And really that's the gist of the ring. Now I'm finally customizing the actual ring band material. And this is a thing I really like to do with my metallic surfaces. I'm going to pull this node editor to the side so we can still see our render. You go into your asset browser, and if you start typing finger, you'll start to see some fingertip smudge images that Redshift or Cinema 4D Maxon has in here. So I use this map and I pull that into my metal surfaces in the node editor, and I just connect that to my roughness value. And this way it almost looks like someone had been holding the ring and then set it up for display. So it just adds a nice little reflection detail there, as you can see. And if you solo it, you can really see where all of the smudges are being placed. And I just played around with the sizing here till I got a layout that I wanted. And you could also play with the UV mapping of the material, but that's optional. And then just some organizing of the actual scene, putting my lights in a lights null, and yeah, playing around with the intensity of the lights and the color even as well. Oh, also in the I forget the display details here in that IPR, if you toggle on streak, you'll get those really nice like tail flares on your actual lights on the ring, like this. So definitely recommend putting that on. And you could also, again, play with the dispersion and the glass if you wanted. Again, here just tweaking the lights to how I wanted in the final render. And showing that because our ring isn't a null, you can rotate the null to actually animate the ring. So, kind of nice. Again, just playing with some settings. I'll also show you here 2 of my favorite LUTs to use. So again, make sure a streak is on, and I also turned on bloom for some extra nice glow. And then I go into the LUTs. Oh, actually, maybe I saved that for later. I forgot that we need to add our Redshift render tag, or just our Redshift object tag, sorry. That'll just smooth out any sharpness on the ring shape, and make sure you add it also to the prongs on our mid-sized diamonds as well. Just smooths things out really nicely. And then it's just a matter of rendering, and you can always add a LUT to the end of this, so that's what I ended up doing. Just saving it out, and then I really like the either F125 or the Advantix 400 for gold jewelry like this. I ended up going with F125, and then I turned on color controls and just brought the curves down. And yeah, that's how I saved it out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned a lot. And please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed and learned something. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.